to-the-minute travel
on BBC Tees.
Now, I arrived at work this morning looking as though I had been dragged through a hedge backwards. Which I had not. It was just very windy outside. Very windy yesterday as well, and it can lead you into bother. It's certainly not a day I would fancy being out at sea. However, the RNLI called into action off the coast of Redcar after a mother and daughter in their dinghy blew half a mile out to sea. They'd been using the inflatable near Mask Beach yesterday afternoon, and then it's so unpredictable, isn't it? Strong offshore winds carried them out. Our reporter Adele Robinson's at the lifeboat station in Redcar for us now, from where the crew was sent to save them. Hiya, Adele.
Hello, Catherine. Yes, as you can probably hear, I'm outside the station on the ramp leading down into the sea where the lifeboats are sent off on their rescues. As you can hear, and I can certainly feel, the wind is very strong today. When you look at the sea, actually, despite its lovely greeny blue colour in the sunshine, it still looks pretty rough. Normally the waves would be coming into shore, but the currents are taking them sideways. Here with me is Dave Cox from the Redcar lifeboat station. Now, Dave, there are a few details that you look for, aren't there, when you to check to see if conditions are dangerous? What are they?
Certainly, when you're looking at an offshore wind, if you look far out to sea, you'll see the tops of the waves are being blown off, forming what we call the white horses.
And that's what we can see now.
And that's what we can see now. And close inshore, if you look at the waves breaking along the water's edge there, the wind is actually ripping the top of the waves off and forming a spray. And that's always a sign of a very strong offshore wind.
And it was conditions exactly like this yesterday as well?
So conditions were very, very similar yesterday as they are today. A strong wind, quite warm, quite sunny, and just the sort of weather that can cause problems with people using inflatable craft.
So tell me what happened with this toy inflatable incident yesterday.
Well, we just finished a rescue to a kite surfer when we were called out again to go to the assistance of two people that were reported to be blown out to sea in an inflatable toy somewhere near Mask, off the beach at Mask. When the lifeboat arrived, they found that there was a young girl in the dinghy, but the older person, who turned out to be the mother of the girl, was actually in the water trying to swim ashore against the wind and the tide, and was becoming very tired because of that.
OK, what condition were they in when you found them?
When the lifeboat arrived, the mother was of quite a great concern to us, so in fact one of our crew members jumped straight into the water to support her while we brought the girl aboard the lifeboat, and then the mother was brought on board as well. The girl was very cold and in fact had to go to hospital for treatment for hypothermia, and the mother had taken a little bit of water in and was extremely cold herself, so she was sent to hospital as a precaution also.
Who made the call? Obviously they can't have made a telephone rescue call from within the dinghy.
They certainly weren't able to make the call themselves. They didn't have any equipment to do so, so we assumed that it was made by somebody that saw their plight on the beach at Mask.
Could this have been a lot more serious?
It certainly could. If they hadn't been seen with the strength of the wind yesterday, they could have soon well have been miles out at sea, and maybe even out of sight of anybody that could have raised the alarm on their behalf.
It wasn't the only inflatable dinghy that was picked up yesterday, though, was it? There was one further up, I think, the coast?
That's right. At the same time as our lifeboat was launching to this incident, our smaller inshore lifeboat was called to another dinghy that had been seen by a fishing boat close to the lifeboat station here. When they arrived, they found that the dinghy was empty, which obviously raises the concern that there may be a person missing. But in fact, it soon became apparent that the people had lost it from the beach and they were safely ashore on the beach.
Do you think that people get a little bit too excited about the hot weather? They go and buy a dinghy, or they get the involved inflatables out, and they don't take the conditions into consideration?
It seems to be the sort of incident that we get called to year after year. The RNLI really don't like these sorts of inflatable toys. They call numerous call-outs every year when the weather's like this, warm and sunny, strong winds. It's a recipe for problems with inflatable craft.
What can be done, though, when shops along the seafront are selling inflatables? Is there any way of stopping these shops selling them? Would you like to see them stop selling these inflatables?
In some ways, yes, we would like to see them being taken out of the shops. However, the shops do sell them, and they've got every right to sell them. So then it's down to the people that use them to use a degree of common sense and to understand the environment that they're going into. The sea is a very, very wonderful place to enjoy your leisure time, but you must respect it because it won't respect you.
Thank you very much, Dave. So, Catherine, after two incidents with dinghies, one more serious than the other, obviously, the lifeboat crews here in Redcar are advising people not to use dinghies in the sea at all. They say they can be dangerous and sometimes even deadly.
I wouldn't fancy a trip out to sea in this. I get really seasick. Are you any good on water? Just before the news at 5:30 then, we were live at Redcar over on the seafront talking to the RNLI. Our reporter Adele Robinson over in Redcar for us today. And we were talking to Dave Cox from the RNLI all about a dramatic rescue yesterday afternoon. A mum and a daughter rescued off the coast, off the sea from Mask after their dinghy blew half a mile out to sea in the winds yesterday. We could cross back live to Redcar now because there's been a bit of a development. Adele, what's going on?
Well, Catherine, I'm still on the windy seafront in Redcar, but while we were doing the interview with Dave Cox from the RNLI just before 5:30, we had a phone call, and it was actually from the mother and her daughter, and they were listening to the radio, and they heard us talking about it in our appeal for them to get in touch, and they were driving past, so they jumped out the car, and they're with me now, Karen and Kirsty Greenhalgh. Karen, you're obviously the mother, and 13-year-old Kirsty. Karen, first of all, tell me why you got into an inflatable yesterday.
The weather was lovely, nice and warm, apart from the water itself, of course, and just enjoying ourselves. And something like that happens, don't expect it.
So when did you first realise something was going wrong?
When we felt the current actually pulling when we weren't getting anywhere, just trying to paddle forward, you know, and we were getting pushed back. Thought there's no chance now.
And so obviously someone on the beach must have made a call into the emergency services to come and help you. What was going through your mind? How long were you out there for?
I think it was a good 20 minutes to half an hour.
And what was going through your mind?
It's just sheer panic when you see a young child in the water and panicking, cold, and just going under. First reaction is to jump in yourself. You don't care about the consequences.
So Kirsty was in the water and you were actually in the inflatable when you got into difficulty?
That's right, yeah. I went in after her because she was actually going under.
OK. Kirsty, what can you remember?
Well, I can remember when I had to go to the hospital and they took some blood out of me to check it, see if there's salt in it. And then I had to go for an x-ray to see if I had any salt in my lungs still, and then they said if they did I'll have to stay in overnight.
Right, and you're feeling better now?
Yeah.
So what about when you were out to sea? What was going through your mind? How scary was it?
Well, I was just panicking because we didn't know how to get back to shore. My dad rang anyone.
So your dad was on shore?
Yeah.
And he didn't know anything was wrong at this point?
He was watching, but yeah.
And what was it like? Just describe to me how cold it was out there and what you were doing while did you even know that people were coming to help you?
No, because we were dead cold, so I got out and tried to push the boat back to shore.
Oh, you did? You tried to do that?
Yeah.
And did you get tired doing that?
Yeah.
And what was going through your mind while you were out there?
I thought I was going to drown because the boat was drifting away from me and I was trying to get back to the boat. And then Karen had to try and grab me, otherwise I would have gone under and drowned, so I'm lucky to be alive.
And just describe to me the feelings that you had when you saw the lifeboat come towards you.
Relieved. They came dead quickly. It's amazing how fast they come to you.
Kirsty and Karen, it's Catherine back in the studio. Just how grateful are you to the RNLI that they were there and were able to come out and help you in your hour of need?
Extremely grateful, very good, excellent job.
Does it make you kind of think harder about sort of how dangerous the sea can be?
Definitely. You don't think it'll happen to yourselves, but it happened to us, and there you go. And a very, very big thank you from us both.
Yeah. Because we just want to say thank you, and they should get paid for doing the jobs they do.
How do you know that they didn't get paid? It's a charity.
Yes, they should get paid.
Have you heard from your friends about this?
Well, I text my friends on Facebook to say, but they didn't really say much.
All right, and you're all over the papers tonight as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
OK, Catherine, there you have it. We have two survivors here of what potentially could have been a little bit more dangerous than it actually turned out to be, but I think they will think twice about going out to sea an inflatable, especially on a windy day like this, even if it is hot.
Yeah, absolutely. And to Karen and Kirsty, thank you ever so much for hearing us and coming to say hello to us this afternoon. It's great to talk to you.
You're welcome.
Right, yeah, thank you very much. There you go, a story with a happy ending, thank goodness. Karen and Kirsty down at RNLI headquarters in Redcar with our reporter Adele Robinson this afternoon.